Garry Paskwietz and Darrell Rideaux here on the USC campus, and it's rivalry week, getting ready for USC UCLA on Saturday. Darrell, let's start off in breaking this thing down, talking about the Trojan defense going up against the UCLA offense. So obviously when you're talking about the Bruins, they are led by Josh Rosen. There's no doubt about it. The ball is going to be in the air on their part. You mentioned one element earlier. We were talking and you were saying Josh has not faced a Clancy Pendergast defense. So talk about the challenges he's going to see there that he hasn't seen before. And one of those is going to be in the secondary, just in terms of how USC rotates in Biggie Marshall to a corner group of Jackie Jones and Isaiah Langley that's kind of been working well the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, and if you're Josh Rosen, there's no way to simulate what happens post-snap. So his pregame snap may look the same, but much of what Clancy does in terms of how he disguises this defense with this veteran group is it's window dressing. They disguise. They'll show you one thing, but post-snap, after that ball is snapped, they'll show you something different. So I expect Rosen to be somewhat confused early on, but he's a very savvy quarterback. And so unless USC can get to him early and often and get him off his mark, you know, he's one who can figure out what they're trying to do. But that rotation in the secondary that has been playing extremely well with that man coverage, now you integrate the skill set of a Iman Biggie Marshall. How do they do that without disrupting that chemistry is something that we'll all watch for.
And you mentioned the pressure. I do think that is key, and USC is healthy right now down on that defensive line. Let's flip it over and talk about the USC offense against the UCLA defense. When you look at the numbers, there's no doubt about what the Trojans should want to do, and that is run the football. UCLA absolutely ranked near the bottom in the country in terms of stopping the run. And the Trojans have been running the ball well lately with Ronald Jones, with an offensive line that has been healthy, so all that is good. But, Darrell, this game is being billed as Sam Darnold versus Josh Rosen, and, hey, who wouldn't mind seeing Sam Darnold throwing the ball over the yard? But the recipe that USC has shown lately, get that run established first and then let Sam get his, that seems to be working.
And naturally, we can all fall into the lure of watching this prolific shootout, but that's not necessarily the recipe that has led to success for the Trojans, who've been putting up, high octane numbers. I think that running and establishing that running game, that physicality, is the message that you want to send, not only to these seniors who are experiencing their last game, but also to really send a message to the Bruins that this isn't going to be one of those unorthodox games where we get into a shootout and it comes down to the last play. You want to demoralize your opponent by the way you prepare, and the best way to prepare is to prepare physically by running that ball with Rojo.
Oh, and who wouldn't want to see that against the Bruins? Talk about the emotions coming into this last game. We interviewed Chris Hawkins earlier, and he talked about, hey, my emotions are all over the place getting ready to play my final game in the Coliseum. You have experienced those emotions. How did it hit you the week before your final game, before you ran out of that tunnel?
As a senior, there's nothing more remarkable about playing in the Coliseum than to walk down that Coliseum halls and down onto the field for the last time. Regardless of how many fans are in the stands, you hear the echoes of those who play and come before you. And then you suddenly realize that these are your last snaps. And the effort that you lay out on the field is going to be your lasting memories. And in a game like this, you remember every key moment and everything that you've done from the time that you taped up and laced up to the pre-snap huddle. And for these seniors who can hone in and harness those emotions and play their natural game, I'm looking forward to seeing how they overcome those emotions and what does Clay Helton do to demonstrate his loyalty to his seniors by sending them out on the right note.
Should be a lot of fun. USC UCLA Saturday night, 5 o'clock at the Coliseum. We only get it once a year. Let's go enjoy it. For Darrell Rideaux, this is Garry Paskwietz. You're watching WeAreSC.